peace and blessings to everyone. So your girl is at it again. Now, tonight, I am doing a redo because I went live 2 days ago to speak on this amazing woman who I am going to present to you guys today. Now, ever since I did that, I went to sleep. I didn't feel right. I felt rushed. I want to give people who I talk about, especially about their work, I want to give them their flowers. I want to be respectful, especially to people who are no longer with us, who have ascended. And if anybody knows me, that's something very important. I feel I have to always ask for permission before I speak on the dead. And I haven't been able to sleep for like 2 days because I felt like I didn't come right that night. I did feel rushed. And Spirit was showing me, yes, you need to go back. This is what you need to do. So I've been preparing and prepping for the past 2 days because I absolutely wanted to do it before the new moon. Sorry, my bad. The full moon in Aquarius, which is tomorrow. Okay. Because there are some very significant things that are at play, that are happening in the world. And when these things come into my energy, there's a reason why, because first of all, I live in this 3D and I'm extremely intuitive. I'm very sensitive to the energy, and there's a reason why certain things happen and breadcrumbs are left for me. So I need to take a moment to gather myself. And this is wild because this is the first time for a very, very long time where I feel calm, collected. I'm not scattered everywhere, because that's what my energy is sometimes. A lot of times. Who's lying, right? But today, for some reason, and I know why, I feel a little bit more grounded, a lot more grounded rather. And I'm prepared to present to you this amazing, I call her goddess. And I want to show you and explain who she is and how important she is to the financial astrology world. Okay. So I said, let me just get in here, because so far everything that I said in the first video is already coming to a head with a lot of things that's going on in the financial world, because y'all know that I'm a crypto investor. I'm a tarot reader. I'm an energy reader. Okay. And that's what my show is mostly about. I touch on crypto here and there. I'm not like, my show is not about crypto. Okay. But when there's something very significant going on in the stars, I see it playing out in the world. And when big, huge, significant shifts that are occurring as we speak right now are happening, then I will talk. I will come in and talk and speak on crypto when something is really, really worth talking about, right? Not that it's never worth talking about, but as far as my channel is concerned. Okay. What's up, Pancho? I haven't been able to watch the video about that topic that you posted a few days ago, but I'm glad you decided to retouch on the subject. Well, there you go. I wasn't happy at all with the way I presented, with the way I felt that was dishonoring, this amazing woman. So I was like, you know what? Let me come in and maybe I could sleep tonight. I could come right and sleep tonight. All right. So So yeah, we're just gonna get this started. And I prepared a slide. That's how serious I am. I finally got down to prepare a slide to explain certain things, and hopefully we could get an idea, get a picture of who this amazing woman is and what's going on in the world. Okay, so before we get into dates and cycles, I want to begin to explain how I came across Louise McWhirter. Okay, so about a week ago, I have never heard of this amazing woman. Okay, and she's dubbed the godmother of financial astrology. And I said, hold up a minute. Really? I need to look into her a little bit more, because I began to find out that with this nodal shift of the North Node and the South Node, shifting now into Leo and Aquarius, and we're going to cover that, it's actually a huge cycle. And I said, what is this cycle about? So I started digging, and that's when Louise showed up. Okay. So, I study about astrology just a few years. I'm no way an expert, but I always tell y'all that when I find out information and I learn, I'll come on here and I'll teach you guys, right? Because all the information is out there, but sometimes in our crazy lives, like me, I'm a testament of how crazy life is, and I'm juggling multiple hats, and sometimes it's really hard to ground yourself when there's a lot of responsibility, a lot on your plate, but spirit will always find a way to slow you down. And this is it right here. This is the moment for me. Okay. So as I am finding out information about Louise, watching videos, reading posts, okay, I have not once have come across anyone, especially those who, claim to be financial astrologers, mention her name once. And I follow a couple of people. Okay. And I know a couple of people who are chart analysts and everything. And I'm like, where do these people get their information? It's like, okay, well, they study the chart and the energy, and that's what I do anyway. Right. Okay. But after reading and looking into her work, I was absolutely amazed. And I know that any knowledge that these financial astrologers have come across or speaking of, okay, or have learned about the cycles, I absolutely have no doubt that they are standing on Louise's shoulders. Knowingly, unknowingly, and if they know and they don't give her kudos and flowers and recognition, I don't think that's good. But that's my opinion. Okay. But then on the other hand, I'm like, why isn't, and when we get into this information, all right, of Louise and her work, okay, I asked myself, why isn't all of her work going viral? Why isn't it online? During especially the greatest astrological years, and I'm going to say ever. With all these, I'm sure you hear Barbo Basket and all of these crazy alignments, especially the nodal shift. But then a verse from the Bible, because I was into the Bible a long time ago, okay? A verse pops into my head, and I heard a voice say, they perish for a lack of knowledge. It just popped up into my head. But if you know, you know, right? So tonight, I'm giving Louise McWhirter her flowers. I'm honoring her. I'm praising her, because without her work, none of what I'm about to share with you would exist. Okay. So let's get into it little by little, right? So this image that you see here, this first slide, first and foremost, I'm going to be very honest. There is a picture of her online. Okay. But when I asked AI, who helped me with a lot of these slides, because I can't do this shit myself, it would take me like 2-3 weeks, because I'm a content creator and I know how long it takes to create something like this. Okay. And your girl don't have the time. Okay. So this is a rendition. This is very close to what she looks like. Very close. Okay. And this is the name of her book that's called Astrology and the Stock Market Forecasting. This is not the cover of her book. Okay. This is just AI was unable to actually post the real book because of copyright infringement stuff, right? But for the most part, okay, all of this information is accurate. Okay, so here we go. Louise McWhirter, she was born October 19th, 1986. So she was born in the 1800s. So you know that her discovery comes from way back, before any of the recent financial astrologers were even born. Okay. And your girl right here, Miss Louise, is a Libra, which is wild. She's an air sign. So I was like, of course. Okay. So she was born in 1986. And just so then you could get a picture of what was going on in 1986, the first Olympic Games in Athens, I had looked all of this up. Okay. The first Olympic Games in Athens kicked off. And the year, which I found very interesting, the year of the Klondike Gold Rush set off too. And I'm like, Klondike. And of course, if y'all are, 80s, 90s, and you've ever heard of the Klondike bar, right? What would you do for a Klondike bar? It's like, oh, wow, that makes sense, right? Gold bars. Okay, let's keep it moving. So she published her book, Astrology and Stock Market Forecasting, in 1937. You see that right here. Okay, 1937. First of all, she's dubbed the godmother of financial astrology. That's not me. That's by her peers. So that speaks loads. And on top of the fact that she's a 9 life path, right? If you're into numerology, which I'm into numerology, 1 through 9, you got 1 through 9, and then the master numbers 11, 12, 33. But I'm going to tell you something. With all of the information that I found and looked into about the life path numbers, number 9 is the secret master number. It's the achievement, it's wisdom. It ends the division between the double numbers of 11, 22, 33, right? It is fulfillment. It's the end of a long process, like the beginning, like the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another. Okay, so that is the true, from what I understand, that is the true master number. But anyway, let's keep it moving. So her book was published in 1937. It was printed in 1938, right? To keep facts. But the number 1937 rings a bell for me, and I'm gonna go on a little bit of a sidebar. All right, and I'll come right back. The number 137, okay, it is such a significant number, not only in my life, and this is how spirit shows me that I'm on the right path and leaving little breadcrumbs, but the number 137, it is the most important number in physics, which I like physics. I've been getting into physics for some time now, quantum, all this quantum stuff and everything. But anyway, Why is the number 137 the most important number in physics? First of all, in gematria, it's the coupling of light and matter. But then also in physics, it is the measurement used to measure the strength of how atoms are held together and how light behaves, making it crucial for the structure of matter, what you're made of, what I'm made of, what the universe and everything in between is made of. Okay. It's the foundational dial setting, 137. So, in other words, it's the mirror of consciousness, if you want to get a little deeper, but let's keep it moving. Okay. So, she was definitely a woman in a man's world, right? Finance, business, investing. And Louise McWhirter made one of the most important discoveries in the 20th century. Okay. And what's one of these discoveries? It is the 18.6 nodal shift cycle, which that's what we're going to talk about, and how it reflects every time that we complete an entire nodal shift around the natal chart in astrology. Something very significant in the world occurs. And I'm going to touch on that in these slides in just a moment. Okay, so if you're just coming in, welcome. I'm taking my time to speak on Louise McWhirter's work. So if you hear me, it's like, hey, she doesn't sound, Mooney sounds really serious, because I believe that there's a time and a place for everything. And when I'm speaking on someone's work that I absolutely admire, then I have to come with respect and bring honor, right, to the person that I admire, that I speak of, right? Okay, so let's keep it going. So she connected the 18.6 year North Node cycle to the rise and fall of the global economy. So basically, she mapped out and put it in writing, and she dedicated her life, right? So those of you who are into crypto, whether you're a chart analysis or anything, you're going to recognize the number 18.6. And if you already know what I'm talking about, right? We see these same numbers in the Fibonacci sequence, or also called the golden ratio, which is 1.618. Or people know it as a shortcut as 618. And your girl right here, okay, that's my birthday. So none of this, do you see the breadcrumbs? So I'm talking about the breadcrumbs, right? So it's another sign how spirit leads me and say, hey, this is not a coincidence. Okay, now with that being said, let's keep it going. So we're going to cover here. We're going to go. So she said a quote. Check out this quote. She's known for this quote. So we spoke about her. Let me see if I could get a little bit of a close up of one of her quotes right here. She said, the way conditions exist today, man is the victim of the business cycle. He cannot tell you these factors in advance because he has no time factor. So in other words, cycles do change, but there are major cycles like this nodal shift that does and has proven to repeat itself in the last 100 years. And that's what we're going to cover. Okay, so we're going to stay factual. I'm not predicting doom. All I'm doing is showing a pattern that has repeated for almost 100 years. Okay, so none of this is financial advice, but I am going to show you pattern recognition. I'm going to show you cycles and how past performance still doesn't guarantee future results. So we're going to keep it open and we're just going to show facts here. Okay. So let's look at, let's go. Let me see. Okay. We already went over her birthday. Okay, so Louise McWhirter was a financial astrologer who published her book. We already went through that. She discovered the nodes moving through all 12 zodiac signs in an 18.6 year. And that's about 1.5 years in each sign and each zodiac sign. And we're going to go to a wheel and I'm going to show you what that looks like. All right. But the two most profound things that she found that put her on the map, okay, is that when this, let's move to the next slide. Okay, these are the north nodes and the south node. North lunar node, north south node. You will recognize it because of the way it looks. It looks like a horseshoe, right? It's very well known in the natal chart. Okay, and I'm going to show you the way it rotates. Okay, so the north node are opposite points in space where the moon's orbit crosses the Earth's orbit. They move backwards through the zodiac, taking 18.6 years to complete a full cycle. And what Louise discovered is that when the north node, okay, is in Aquarius, we are at the bottom of the cycle. This is when the economy is at its lowest point, hard times, crashes, fear. Okay. And then when the north node is in Leo, we are at the top of the cycle. This is when the economy is at its highest point. So we're talking about booms, bubbles, excitement. Okay. Everything else is just a ride between top and bottom between this 18.6 year cycle as the north node goes around all of the zodiacs. Okay. Now let's look at history. All right. Let me see which is the next slide. Oh, okay. So this is the zodiac wheel, right? Here you have at the top left, you have the north node, okay, and the right side of the image, you have the south node. Then you have all the zodiacs here in between. And as this rotates, you see how it rotates clockwise, okay? And these, I don't know if you see I'm not sure if you see my arrow. Do you see my arrow? Let me just check something out. Let me check something out. Give me a second. Okay, anyway. So as it goes clockwise, it goes through every zodiac sign. All right. It takes 18.6 years. And in each zodiac sign, it spends 1.5 years in each zodiac sign. So on the 27th, which was yesterday, right? The north node just went into Aquarius. Okay. So let's go. I just wanted to show that to you so you see what it looks like. So if you ever look at your natal chart and you see these north nodes and south, this north node and south node, you know, and you're studying astrology, it also shows you what you need, things that you need to change in your life, how things are shifting, so forth and so on. So let's keep it going. Okay. So we're going to go. So I had asked, I was like, okay, wait a minute. So if the north node just shifted into Aquarius and we're entering into a whole new 18.6 cycle, That was the next question that I asked. I was like, so then when was the last time that the North Node was in Aquarius? And then when I searched, I was like, no freaking way. Okay. And bingo, Pancho. Okay. The last time that it was in Aquarius was for the 2007 crash at the end of December. I'm going to get to that date. Okay, I'm going to get to that date. And it reached complete bottom in 2009. So I was like, no freaking way. So then I decided to get into more of McWhirter's work. And all of this information popped up of every time that the North Node was in Aquarius, bottom, and every time that the North Node was in Leo, which is the top. And it gave me all of these dates and all of these crazy significant financial disasters or booms happen. I was like, this is no freaking way. But this is why they dubbed her the godmother of financial astrology, because she cracked the code to the 18.6 cycle. So let's get to it. So one of the first recorded, right? Say first recorded, or at least, right, the first significant North Node in Leo. So we're here in number 1, okay, where we were at the top. It was for this date, for the what they call the Roaring 20s. Okay, the North Node was in Leo from April 23rd to 1924 to October 26th of 1925. And all of these dates I verified, I double check, I triple check. Okay, so all of this information is out there. You could look for it yourself. Okay, so this was the peak of the 20s. It's what they call a speculative bubble, right? The Dow Jones hit its all-time on September 3rd, 1929. Everyone thought the good times would never end. But then the North Node was leaving Leo and heading back down and around, if you remember the natal chart that I just showed you. It's heading back down and around. So let me just go back here really quick. So this North Node was in Leo, was here. Okay, was in North, was it's number 5 in the zodiac wheel. And then it starts rotating and start making its way up into Aquarius. So there goes my cat. Don't pay attention to my cat. Jean, please. You already know what time it is. It's a full moon tomorrow. Okay, but the North Node was leaving Leo and heading back down. This is the pattern in Leo. So we were at the top in number 1 here. Okay, so let's go to number 2. Aquarius, the Great Depression, which was the freaking bottom. I was like, I couldn't believe that. Are you serious? I was like, yep, from 1929 to 1933. This was the first bottom. Okay, the Great Depression. The North Node was in Aquarius from June 1933 to March 1935, but the crash started before that. The stock market crashed because the energy always comes in prior. And I'm going to show you what's going on right now. That's an indicator of how the energy shows up prior. Okay. The stock market crashed on October 24, 1929. Okay, so banks failed. Most people lost everything. We know people were, murking themselves. It was terrible. It was the lowest point. It was one of the things that we learned in history in school, was the Great Depression. This was the lowest point of the 20th century in the economy. So according to McWhirter, the low point of the Depression was reached in the summer of 1933 when the North Node was in Aquarius. So at this point, McWhirter studied the period closely during this time. She saw that Aquarius meant very meant extreme low, right? As she's recording, because she's got to live it. She passed away in 1950. Oh my goodness, in 1957. Let me go back. Let me see if that's right. Yeah, she passed away in 1957. So, number 3 here. This is North Node in Leo again. The World War II boom peaked between 1942 and 1944, right? So the next peak, that was the World War II economic boom. The North Node entered Leo on November 22nd, 1942, and stayed until May 11, 1944. So McWhirter predicted the next economic peak would occur in November of 1942. What happened? World War II spending kicked the economy into high gear. Factories were running nonstop. Jobs were everywhere. The economy was at its top. This matched her theory perfectly when she saw the boom number, when she saw what happened in phase 1 and in phase 2. And then she predicted 1942, and it was accurate. She accurately predicted it. Okay. So number 4. Aquarius, the Nixon shock bottom from 1970 to 1972. So fast forward, the North Node enters Aquarius again from November 3rd, 1970 to April 27, 1972. On August 15, 1971, President Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard. The economy was struggling. Inflation was high. This was another Aquarius low moment. So far, this matches the pattern. Aquarius equals bottom, according to McWhirter's findings. Just looked up her book. It's pricey. I know. I'm ordering it. I don't care. I want the hardcover book. I want the hardcover book. You know when it's true knowledge, and I'm going to go over this. You know when it's true knowledge when somebody's book costs that amount of money or more. And I think $300 is cheap. I think it's cheap. But they sell like, used books and stuff like that. I'm going to, whatever I could get my hands on, I'm going to get it. Okay. So let's go. We did number 4. Okay, now 5. Yeah, there you go. Look what Pancho says. Okay, it's well worth it. Must be gold like the Klondike. Do you see the connection? Do you see the connection? What will you do for a Klondike bar? Listen, I'm not making this shit up. Okay, I'm just connecting the dots and giving praises where praises is due. Okay, so here we go. Step 5. Leo in the North Node in Leo. The early 1980s. This is why I say the 80s was the best time ever. Now you know why. Okay. In the early 80s peak, 80 to 81 is the next peak, the next up. Okay. In other words, the early 80s economic expansion. The North Node was in Leo from January 6, 1980 to September 24th, 1981. Okay. The economy was recovering from the 70s stagflation. Interest rates were high, but the market was climbing. Another Leo peak. Now you know why the 80s was so amazing, right? At least it kicked off to be very amazing. And it continued, right? It continued. Now, throughout all the 80s, because remember, this is an 18.6 cycle. All right, so let's go to the next. Is this part 2? Yes. I'm sorry. This again goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's incorrect. It's supposed to be 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So I'm just going to say 1 to begin with, right? So I don't lose you. And let me write it here. So then, okay. So after the 80s and peaked, so now the North Node transits again into Aquarius, the early 90s recession. So that's 1989 to the 1990s. The 90s sucked. I'm sorry. Like for me, energetically, before I even knew all of this, I already knew that the 90s sucked. The only great thing is that, I had my son, and I was growing and learning and living the life because anyway, let's keep it moving. The 1990s. It was a great time. It was graduated high school, whatever. Anyway, let's keep it going. So the next bottom in the early 1990s recession, the North Node entered Aquarius on May 23rd, 1989, and stayed until November 18, 1990. The U.S. economy entered a recession in July 1990. Jobs were lost. The market struggled. Another Aquarius low. Okay. Now number 2. These are all phases. So far, McWhirter's batting 100 at this point, right? With her discovery of the nodal cycle. She's batting 100. So the North Node in Leo, number 2. The dot-com bubble peaks. Y'all remember the dot-com bubble, right? From 1998 to the 2000s. Now that I say 1998 to the 2000s, I remember 1999 was the Y2K shit. Now, do you remember how they were instilling fear into people during the 1990? Oh my gosh, we're gonna black out. Everything's gonna crash. Do y'all remember that? The Y2K? Now, I just made a connection with that, and I'll tell you a little later on. Okay, in my final notes, I just realized that. Let me highlight that. Hold on. And let me put that here in my final notes. Stick with me, my people. I'm not rushing today because there's too much amazing, juicy details here and information. Okay, here we go. Okay. So then now we jump to the 1990s. We're still on number 2, are we? Yes, now we jump to the late 1900s. The North Node enter Leo on October 20th. Give me a second. Just so then Jean, you don't hear Jean's acting all crazy right now. Okay. The North Node enters Leo on October 20th, 1998, and stayed until April 9, 2000. What happened? The dot-com bubble. Everyone was buying internet stocks. To anyone that knew, but the fact that they were instilling fear into the public, oh, computers are the devil. Do you remember that? We went through a phase, the same way we're going through right now with AI. Oh, the computer, the internet, it's going to be the end of us. Yeah, but that was for, the little folk. But those who knew what was coming, that understood this cycle, They invested and they put their money in Bitcoin and all that shit. Okay. Sorry, I get a little emotional because I see the cycle rank. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my gosh. But anyway, everyone was buying internet stocks. The NASDAQ peaked on March 10th, 2000 at 5,048, more than double its value, the NASDAQ. Okay. More than double its value from just a year before. People thought it would never end. This was the peak, the Leo top. Okay. Then the bubble burst. The market crashed. The North Node was leaving. As soon as it leaves, that energy starts leaving. It starts transiting and going around back up into Aquarius. It starts leaving. So I'll explain in a second when I get to the 2007 energy. But anyway, okay. So then the bubble burst, the market crashed, the North Node was leaving Leo and heading back down. Okay. Now here we go on we are on now number 3. Right? Yup. So Aquarius, North Node in Aquarius. The 2008 financial crisis bottoms. The bubble burst between 2007 and 2009. Now we get to the one you probably remember, which I do. Everyone does here, right? So December 19 of 2007, the North Node enters Aquarius and it stays there until August 21st of 2009. Okay. So as soon as it enters December, okay, of 2007, and this is what I was going to tell you. As soon as the North Node entered, you had the crash. The crash happened a little bit after that. Okay. But then the complete bottom was when it was leaving Aquarius. Do you see the picture? Do I need to go back to the natal chart so you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, let's do it. Just to get an image. All right, because I'm an autistic adult and I need pictures. Okay. So we have right here Aquarius number 11, right? That's the bottom. So you have the North Node. First, it goes into Aquarius, coming up out of Capricorn, going into Aquarius. The market bottoms, it crashes. And as it's moving up and around towards Pisces, number 12, okay, by the time it gets to the end out of Aquarius and into Pisces, then that's when the bottom is in 2009. Why? Because how long did I say that the North Node stays in one zodiac? 1.5 years. I mean, write it down if you want to. If not, you don't have to. But let's keep it going. Okay, here, number 2. So December. So here we go. What happens next? The housing market collapses. Banks fail. Does that sound familiar? Sounds like we're repeating the same cycle, but we'll get to that now, right? The housing market collapsed, banks failed, the global financial crisis began. On September 15, 2008, the Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy. Do you remember that? Do you remember the picture of them holding the sign when they filed for bankruptcy? Do y'all remember? Am I saying too much? Do you know why they filed for bankruptcy? Because when you file for bankruptcy, you could cash out and liquidate everything and hold cash for what? Right? We're in Aquarius this year right here. We are at number 3, right? Because they know that they're at the what? at the freaking bottom. So they cash everything out, claim bankruptcy, so they don't have to pay back shit. I'm sorry, I get passionate because it's so evident, right? It's so evident. But anyway. And what are they getting ready for? What are they getting ready for? Because everything bottoms. And what do you do when you're at the bottom? If you know about crypto, when you're an investor, what do you do when you're at the bottom? When everything is at the bottom, what do? You know what you do. Okay. So what happened next? The housing market. Yeah, there you go. Pancho knows. The housing market crashed. So on September 15th, the Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy. The market hits its lowest point on March 2009. Why? Because when the node starts leaving Aquarius, right? Then that is when you reach, you're at the bottom, right in the middle of the Aquarius. Well, it happened during the Aquarius cycle, but it's because it's already leaving. Okay. So McWhirter's theory predicted this Aquarius equals bottom, and it happens again. Okay. So y'all don't have to. But I'm lighting a candle, something, giving praises or something to this goddess right here. I understand that the financial world, the crypto bros, it's a man's world. But this cycle was cracked by a woman. And we need to give praises to the feminine. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in my final notes. So here we go. Number 4. Leo. And y'all really gonna remember this. Crypto bros, crypto chicks. Y'all really gonna remember number 4. What happened during that year? The North Node, it shows there that the North Node enters into Leo. The crypto bubble peaks from 2017 to 2008 because it takes 1.5 years for the North Node, for one node to stay in one sign. And it was in Leo during that time. Leo, the sun. We are in what season right now? We are in Leo season right now. But this is no ordinary Leo season. And this is why this energy, this amazing woman, her work, this knowledge came into my energy because we are in a year like no other. People say, "No, oh my gosh, these transits." I said, I get it, Spirit. I get it. But why? Because I'm always asking why. And this is why. Let's keep it moving. So in May 9th of 2007, that's wild because that's my mother's birthday, May 9th, the North Node entered into Leo and it stayed there until November 6, 2018. What happened? Bitcoin surged from under $1,000, wild to think. There you go. Anyone tuning in is also in alignment with frequency. It's not a coincidence. Amen to that. Amen to that. Okay. Bitcoin surged from under $1,000 at the start of 2017 to nearly $20,000. God damn. Like I knew it surged, but when I see it on paper, I was like, what? From $1,000 to nearly 20 grand in December 2017. Crypto went mainstream. Everyone was talking about it. This was another Leo top, extreme high, maximum optimism, speculative bubble. Then what happened in 2018? As soon as the North Node left Leo, then it crashed. The North Node was leaving Leo in 2018. So here we are now. Number 5. Here we are now. Aquarius just, sorry, my bad. The North Node just entered into Aquarius yesterday. Yes, please. Everything that I spoke about, keep in mind. Because I'm going to show you something that Spirit showed me today. And I was like, seriously, first of all, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Because the same way all of these freaking millionaires that turned into billionaires back when there was the crypto bubble, right? When crypto hit 20K, they knew the cycle, what was going on. Okay, this is Spirit talking to me now. Like I said, none of this is financial advice. But as of right now, Louise McWhirter, give praises. She's my goddess right now. Louise McWhirter is a batting 100. And if it wasn't for her knowledge that she dedicated her life to studying the cycle, this is why I said we wouldn't know what we know today. So if you ever hear anyone, this is why I wanted to take my time and go through this really slow. Because if you ever hear anyone talking about, oh, it's an 18-year cycle. Bitch, where did you learn that from? I'm sorry. I get it. I get passionate. And it's going to happen. As a matter of fact, I make no fucking apologies. Because it makes me real upset. And in a way I understand both sides. It makes me upset that no one is giving recognition to this woman. Thank God I found out about her. Maybe it was only for me to know, and whoever's listening to this show right now, which is not much. It's okay. We're the few, right? That knows about this cycle, knew about this woman, okay, and never gave her props, never dedicated a show to her, nothing. Okay. Or attain some type of knowledge, but it always going to track back to her. Always. But anyway. So right now, now back to our show, right? Right now, Aquarius just shifted into the North Node just shifted into Aquarius. You don't believe me? Let's take a look. Let me see if my beautiful laptop, right? You got to give love to the technology. Oh my gosh. Wow, we are in it's a Capricorn moon right now. And guess who's a Cappy moon? I didn't even know this. I'm just looking at this right now. Guess who is a Capricorn moon? Me. You can't make this shit up. You really cannot make this shit up. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Let's look at this chart right now. I'm going to show you. I'm going to close this so it doesn't take up too much. I'm so glad that I was able to come on and really take my time. I haven't felt grounded in such a long time. This is I feel amazing. I feel amazing. And now that I see it's a Capricorn moon, we touched on the 18.6 year cycle that she discovered and tied the 618 Fibonacci sequence, and they have nothing to do with one another. The Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, has nothing to do, but does it really? It's energy with the 18-year cycle. Like one does not play off of the other, what I'm trying to say. Okay. And then my birthday is 618. Look at here. I'm going to share this instead. Give me a second. Let me see if I could get this. What is this? Aspect ratio is dominant. I need the nodal. This is not going to give it to me. But anyway, y'all believe me. You can look it up. Just do what I tell you yesterday. Where you been? This is going to say yesterday. Wild stuff. Where are we? This is the 28th. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, it's fine. You can look it up. It's not going to give me, it has to give me the true node chart. But anyway, let's go. So, according to McWhirter's pattern, we're at number 5 now. Okay. So, according to McWhirter's pattern, this means we are entering another bottom period, another Aquarius low. The last 2 times this happened, which is the 2007-2009 financial crisis, and also the 1929 and the 1933 Great Depression, is when the North Node enters into Aquarius during this time, this particular time. So I'm not saying that things will happen, but the pattern is there. The astrology is clear. We are entering the bottom phase of the 18.6 year cycle. So what comes next? I'm going to show you something on the next slide. Okay. As to why I say this is no ordinary North Node shift into Aquarius. It's not ordinary. Okay. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But shit's gonna happen before then. And we gotta prepare ourselves. Right? Okay, so it says what comes next is 2006 to 2028. The North Node stays in Aquarius until March 2028. All right. So the North Node is going to be in Aquarius until 2028. And by the way, today's the 28th. I just realized that. I'm going to write that down. Today's the 28th. Look at all of these syncs. This is freaking wild. Okay. This is at this phase, March 28th of 2028. This is the hard times phase, the bottom of the cycle. That is as far as the way the cycle has been moving, and we've been seeing it here. Okay. And don't take my word for it. Do your own homework, right? Check the dates, do the research on your own, right? This is the bottom. This would be considered the bottom of the cycle on that day. That's 328. After that, it'll move through Pisces, Aries, Taurus. The slow recovery begins. Then the next peak, the next top level won't happen until around 2044. Actually, 2044. Wealth code 28. You better believe it. My daughter was born on the 28th. Next top is 2044, actually, Pancho. That's the cycle That's McWhirter's discovery, right? Because I'm just talking about her discovery. Okay. So, let me drink some water. Hold on. So the simple version is Aquarius equals bottom, hard times, crashes, fear. That's where we are now. Leo equals tops, booms, bubbles, excitement. That's where we were in 2017. Everything else is the right between bottom and top. This doesn't tell you exactly what will happen, but it gives you a map. It helps you understand where we are in the big picture. That was Louise's McWhirter. That's what Louise McWhirter gave us, a map of the 18.6 year cycle. All praises to Louise McWhirter. All praises to Louise McWhirter. Okay, now I'm going to show you something, and it hit me like a ton of bricks because I said on my last video, which I erased because I felt disgraced that I didn't take my time to honor and walk everyone through, right? To honor Louise and to walk everyone through step by step. I knew I had it in my mind, but the energy was just so freaking nutso. Okay. The readings were amazing though, but I was not proud of the show that I did talking about Louise McWhirter. So right now I feel a little bit more justified. So check this out. This is why you watch what these people do, how they act. And I said, going back to what I said, I told people in my first live that I erased that they are not going to pass the Clarity Act before they go on vacation because they have summer break. Okay. Congress has summer break. Okay. They're not going to pass the Clarity Act. And I knew it. And Spirit is like, watch. I'm going to show you something. I said, okay. Because first I was like, they're not going to pass it. I don't know why I said it, but now Spirit showed me why. Okay. So look at this. I'm going to show you. Stick with me. July 27, 2006. This is number 1, right? House summer recess begins for the House of Representatives. District work period begins. Members out of Washington through August. So the House is already on vacation yesterday when the North Node went into fucking Aquarius because they know what is coming. They're going to go do their little rituals. They're going to kick back. And this is just me. I'm speculating, right? Like I said, this is not financial advice, and this is what's the freaking word that I'm looking for? Allegedly, right? And today and tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, Moon Day and Mars Day. Mars right now is in, what did I say Mars was? Cancer, I think in Cancer. Anyway, the Federal Reserve FOMC meeting. Really? Tomorrow? What's tomorrow? It's a 2-day Fed Open Market Committee, Policy Committee. I said they are not going to pass. They're getting close to going on vacation. They're not going to pass the freaking Clarity Act. Policy statement, chair press conference on the 29th. Tomorrow, watch. You know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is the freaking full moon in Aquarius. North Node shifts in Aquarius on the 27th, and now we have a freaking full moon. I did a show, I did a video talking about Trump's son Eric, and the other one, the junior, when they were talking, making some freaking announcement about World Liberty Financial, and they did it on after the full moon or new moon, and then some shit happened, and World Liberty Financial shot up. Okay. So the full moon peaks at 10:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to know what time. Hold on a second. Don't tell me I completely took this out. Give me a second. Did I take out the slide? I did. Give me 1 second. Damn it, I pressed something. Oh, here I go. Okay, add to stage. Sorry, I took it off the stage. Okay. Full moon peaks at 10:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Astrology, visibility, collective themes, innovation, release, right? So a full moon, a normal full moon, like the one that's coming up, okay, usually the market reacts in a way how like there's a lot of buying, there's a lot of selling, like things are looking really good. Okay, but it's a time where people usually take money off the table on a full moon, on a normal full moon. Okay, that's usually the energy. So my prediction is that this is just speculation. Listen to me, this is just speculation. That and what also is, oh my gosh, what also is happening on the 27th is Saturn goes retrograde. Oh my gosh, no wonder they're getting the fuck out of Dodge. Okay, because I just said Mars Day. They're making an announcement to today, Mars Day. Who's the ruler of Mars? Aries is the ruler of Mars, and Saturn also goes retrograde. Saturn is considered to be the father of astrology, right? If you know about Saturn worship, you want to take a look at Brad's arm, what he has tatted on that. I spoke on that. Shout out to Ruel Black, but we spoke on that a little bit on his show. But yeah, I was like, I never knew he had a tattoo on his arm. So take a look at his tattoo. But anyway, I was like, okay. So they do this announcement. Boom. There's an Aquarius full moon peaking tomorrow, right? The 29th. They're going to make an announcement on the 29th. They're going to have the FOMC meeting. And look what happens on the 7th. Senate summer recess begins. They had no plan to ever pass the Clarity Act at all. Why? Because they know the cycle. Senate state work period begins. Members return to districts through December. Okay, so nobody's working. Everybody's on vacation because they know what's going to happen. Allegedly. Then look what happens. The next freaking day, They always do stuff before full moons, before portals, before big events that happen astrologically. You have the 888 portal the next freaking day on a Saturn day. Saturday. Now, why is it 888, Mooney? It is a 888 day. You got the 8th month, you got the 8th day, and then 26, the year 26, 2026, 2 plus 6 equals 8. So it's 888. Now, if you add up all of the numbers, all right, the 8th month, the 8th day, and 2026, it's an 8 universal day. You know, I'll be talking about universal days, right? It's an 8 universal day. So it's like saying, look at me, guys, pay attention, everyone. Cycles are here. Cycles are happening. Prepare yourselves. Okay. So from what I understand, how the moon works, the energy, the things that I've learned, the things that I've seen, it's going to, the market's going to act, up, and down. It's going to look a little healthy, whatever. But from the 7th to the 11th, I have here, hold on. From the 7th to the 11th is what I call the calm before the storm. The market is getting ready. Whales are positioning. Things might feel slow or choppy, but something big is brewing under the surface. That's speculation. I'm assuming. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a crypto investor. I'm a crazy, witchy, tarot chick online that doesn't know anything. Okay. I don't know anything. Then, right? So then the portal is about manifestation, abundance, creative leadership, things like that. But you know what to do that day. You know what to do that day. Look it up. Find out how you tap into your own powers, right? So from the 28th to the 11th, something's brewing bigger under the surface. And this is why I had said before, if you were listening before, that this year is like no other year we have stepped into. With all of these crazy transits, crazy trines, and everything. I've been posting it on my Instagram, my YouTube. On the 12th, I don't have it here. I should have put it here. But on the 12th, where do I have it? Let me see. Did I put it on the next? No, I didn't. Damn it. It's okay. On the 12th, we have a solar eclipse on this is considered to be a new moon solar eclipse. So no moon is when it's completely dark, right? And usually the energy of a normal new moon, okay, is people become emotional and then they start you have everything goes red, everything drops, right? Everything dumps. But then if you know, and you get ready to buy on a new moon, but this is no ordinary new moon because we have a solar eclipse, right? So here it comes. I see the price shooting up. Everyone is screaming to the moon. This looks like a win, but I think it's a hype cycle. So this is not financial advice, but it's sound advice. If you're making money, don't leave nothing on the table. Take something off, buy something, but don't buy the top. Y'all already know what the energy looks like. I don't even need to get into it, right? So this is very tricky energy, especially with the North Node in Aquarius. So I already showed you what the energy looks like and how it's proved itself for the past almost 100 years. But I'm not predicting anything. Okay. And then we also have not only a new moon solar eclipse, but then on August 28th, what I didn't put it here either, we have a full moon lunar eclipse. So we have 2 eclipses in 1 month. Do you see how crazy it's going to be? Do you see why these people are going on vacation and they're not going to be back until when? So December, until the dust settles. And the dust is not going to settle because when they're going to come back, they're going to come back to fucking insanity. And I'm assuming, because I don't know anything. So this is going to be the hardest part, right? So prices could hit a really low. Fear is everywhere. People are panicking. People are screaming, crash. But if you're prepared, like let's say, for example, somebody wants to buy a house, then you would wait because people are freaking out. Because if you've seen, and I was talking about the housing market, how the housing market crashed. Okay. Back in the day, I forgot which year, the housing market crashed. Everything was crashing. People were selling, blah, 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 blah. So the ones that are selling now, this is the year where I've most seen the most houses for sale. But who owns those houses? A percentage of those homes owe payments. So there are like almost pre-foreclosure. But a majority of the other percentage of people that own those homes that are selling them are freaking boomers. They don't have to lower their prices. They got their money back years ago, right? But guess what? Those are the ones that are biggest invested in the market as well. Those are the ones with the top 401ks and the investment and the trust funds. So I'm predicting, this is me. I'm thinking, I'm just reading the energy. So if this happens, right, this freaking crazy washout happens for the full moon lunar eclipse, then you know they're going to lower their prices because they're going to freak out. But I'm just saying, that's not advice. You don't buy a house. If you want to buy a house, I don't know. That's up to you. But anyway, let's keep it moving. So, and then if you see here in September 14th, this is when they come back. Congress returns, Senate returns to Washington for legislative session. The fall, I was talking about the end of the year. Okay. I was talking about the end of the year. What happens? And I was like, okay, now I see. So it's like a new beginning, because now remember that the nodes is going to start shifting, right? So in the next 1 point something 5 years, so it's like now I see the trust is going to go to technologies or digital currencies that have real world utility. So that's me. I'm thinking, when I think ISO 222, the message, anything that's part of that messaging system, any crypto technologies that are connected to that. Like, I think the trust is going to go towards more those, and not to take away from other ones that are not part of that messaging system, but something that offers real world utility. Right? So all of this meme shit out the window. I've always heard memes, there's a time is limited. And I think after this cycle, like, people are going to be done with memes. They're going to go more towards security. Okay. So the market is going to look more solid towards the end of the year, right? So after the dust settles with all this stuff, the hype is dead, but now it's time for real builders to start setting up. The money that sold the meme coins slowly starts flowing back into the strong, useful tech projects. This is the start of the 18-month Aquarius cycle, slowly, steady, and build towards real value. Which, by the way, I'm going to keep my eye. I have mentioned Brad, right? I'm going to keep my eye on Brad and Elon. Why? because I made a video explaining on how Elon was born during the year of the pig, but so was Brad. And next year for the year of the goat, pigs are going to do amazing for the year of the goat. Amazing. And Elon is going to be 55 years old. 5 plus 5 is what? 10. 10 is what? 10 is the X in the Roman numeral number, and he loves X. So next year is going to be his year. So whatever he talks about, whatever he touches, you want to put your money in tech. Like I said, I'm not giving no financial advice, but I'm saying look at the signs, read the energy, see what's going on. So my personal take is what the energy is telling me. The market is going to look more solid towards the end of the year, right? After the garbage gets cleared out, the scams get exposed, and all of the actual utilities survive and thrive after this, right? So, but the next year in 2007, for the year of the goat, remember, we're still in the 1 we will still be in the 1.5. So there's still going to be a lot of correction in the market. But that's my, don't listen to me. I could be 1000% wrong, but we still have our work cut out ahead of us. But I'm just saying, if you know the energy, you know how to move, right? So solid advice for anyone who's listening, who's a crypto investor, and things that I've learned, right? So if you're up in investments, then consider taking profits. Taking money off the table is never a bad move. You don't have to sell everything, just enough to protect yourself. Never buy when it's pumping. That's how people get trapped. Definitely, we always buy when there's blood in the streets, right? That's a metaphor. And if you have the stomach for it, because it's crazy. It's crazy, right? But first and foremost, you do your own research. Don't trust anyone else's hype. Look at the technology, the team. Don't trust my hype either. I'm just saying. The team that's behind that technology, and the actual use case. And like I said, this is not financial advice. This is astrology, pattern recognition, and common sense. Always invest what you can afford to lose, and all that good stuff. So let's see. Also, another reason why towards the end of the year there is a turning point, because Uranus goes retrograde for September 11th, which is wild because they come back. They come back when things start getting really good, which is September 12th. Do you see how they work? So Uranus goes retrograde, which is in Gemini. It goes retrograde on the 11th. So that means that the planet of sudden unpredictable changes, changes and disruption, the wild card, okay, enters the station of retrograde. So this chaotic energy turns inward. So the curveballs stop, and it's giving everyone a chance to reset and adjust. Okay. And then on September 25th, you have a trine that ends. So the supportive trine between Jupiter expansion in Leo and Saturn structure in Aries ends. The wild anything goes energy dials back as Saturn's call for order and responsibility asserts itself. Why? Because Saturn is going retrograde. So it calls back that energy, that chaotic energy. It's like, hey, hold on. Let's put ourselves in order, and let's get this right. Okay. Now, something very important also, there is a Virgo Leo Virgo new moon on 9/11. That stood out to me because that number is always sticking out to me, because these people work with according to the numbers and the energy. So this isn't about hype. It's about work, routine, getting things done. It offers a mental reboot during that time. A perfect time for organizing and building real foundations after the August chaos. And that's what I'm going to say about the end of the year. So the lunar nodes find their footing all month, right? This month, the North Node in Aquarius, the South Node in Leo are settling into their new 18-month cycle. The disorienting shock of the late July shift fades. This is just predictions. It's not even real predictions. Okay, I'm just saying. Replaced by a clearer sense of direction and a renewed focus on technology, innovation, and community, which are Aquarius's themes. Aquarius is about tech, it's about AI, but it's also about individuality. It is about community. It is about sovereignty. Okay, so all right, I already said that. So let's go to my final. Let me go into my final thoughts. So make sure I get right with you guys. And all right, so I hope y'all enjoyed this. It's wonderful. I feel like absolutely relieved. I feel absolutely relieved. I'm sorry, what did you say? Garling House, 7-Eleven on August. Yeah, you see that 7-Eleven, which by the way, if you guys have a 7-Eleven gas station nearby you, the gas is going to be 50% off. Don't tell me I don't put you on game. Just go there, go to the pump or whatever and sign up, blah, 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 and you get 50% off on 7-Eleven. I'm just saying. Anyway, so, okay, guys, again, I'm going to touch on this again. I am not predicting doom. I'm not here to scare anyone. I am just taking us step by step through a cycle that has repeated every 18.6 years in the last 100 years, my guys, and my dudettes, my dudes and my dudettes. Okay, anything more than that is just I'm giving praises and flowers to Louise today, who actually made this discovery because one of her famous quotes, one of the famous quotes that we always throw around here on this show, right? When I talk about cryptocurrency, financial astrology. Oh, you're welcome, Pancho. You're welcome. Have an amazing time. Have dinner with the fam. This is what it's about, right? It's about learning how to play the game, but still enjoying life, still enjoying your family, and nobody could ever take that away from you, right? So wonderful, wonderful evening to you and your family. Gracias. Appreciate your insights. Thank you so much. Appreciate your insights in setting up my blueprint for success. Oh my gosh, you don't understand. That's like another reason why I'm doing this. It's another reason why I'm doing this. So going back to how we throw around the quote that I still haven't confirmed. I'm going to be very honest. I still haven't confirmed if JP Morgan really said this quote. Okay, but regardless, millionaires don't believe in astrology, billionaires do. And do you see why? By showing you the cycle that has happened in almost the last 100 years, you see how millionaires have turned into billionaires that are now turning into fucking trillionaires. Okay? How they use the cycle and how they gatekeep and how they created this. I'm going to get a little crazy because I have to, right? Because they have to be like, oh, she's crazy. Don't even listen to her. How they created this matrix to keep us down, to keep us in doubt, to keep us ignorant. Let me go back here. So giving praises to her, right? So, yeah, so millionaires don't believe in astrology, billionaires do, and now you know why. So when I first heard that quote years ago, I thought it was a very catchy quote. I was like, yeah, buddy. But when you look at the history, just as I said, when you look at the people who built real wealth, again, they understood the cycle, they understood energy, they understood everything moves in patterns, including money, currency. Okay. There's a real reason billionaires pay attention to this stuff. There's a reason why they have astrologers on payroll. Put me on the motherfucking payroll. I'm just saying. Put me on the payroll. Because this shit works. Have y'all not heard about how Nancy Reagan had an astrologer on site? Right? I know y'all heard that. People must have thought she was a nut job or a witch. Which I absolutely, is the reason why I've always loved her. Now I understand why I always loved her since I was a little girl, and also because she looks like my abuela. Praises to my grandmother. I know she's one of the main ancestor who looks after me. Okay, who in her own right was a witch as well. Okay, but here's the thing: this information, astrology, the cycles, everything that Louise McWhirter speaks of, it's not just for them. It's for us too. We have access to the stars. We have access to the cycles. And above everything, we have access to our intuition, which is the reason why Spirit was like, I couldn't sleep. You're not going to sleep. And it was like a splinter in the back of my mind, like Morpheus said to Neo. Right? Because we always got to take it back to the Matrix. We have access to our intuition. Trust me. I've learned that the hard way. Anytime I've listened to anyone outside of myself and my intuition and what Spirit has told me and put in my heart, that's where I had losses. That's where I fucked up. But when I sit down, like I'm doing tonight, long enough to put everything on pause, my busy schedule, all right? And I sit with myself to give myself enough time to see the signs, to understand the energy, to listen to my own intuition, to do my homework. That's where I find clarity every freaking time. And that's what I want for all of us. Because I'm hoping that this information will help us to understand the code. Because this is what we've been trying to do. We've been trying to hack the matrix. We've been trying to hack the code, which, by the way, my name in gematria, one of the breakdowns, my name in gematria is Matrix Hacker. No lie. I'm hoping this information will help us understand the code. Why? So we can finally break these chains of ignorance that they put us through, right? From the time that we get here, from the time that we're born, and they smack our butts, right? Y'all know they've been running this system to keep us ignorant and in fear and in confusion. Look at everything that's going on. Do you see all the craziness in the news? Right before all of these crazy transits and eclipses happen, do you see the energy now? It's to keep us in fear. It's like, oh my gosh, the economy is going to crash. The gas is going up. How we're going to feed our kids? How we're going to do this? How we're going to do that? It's to keep us to keep us broke, to keep us in and continuing in a broken mindset, and that we're not smart enough or worthy enough to understand the energy, to understand cycles, to understand the money, to sit. And it's true. A lot of people don't read. I say, if you don't read, tap into your energy, do the breath work, because Your girl doesn't read a lot, but I'm into energy. That's why I say I'm an energy reader. And when spirit puts something, I was like, okay, then I need to sit down and do the work. This is what I'm talking about. So if they could convince us that we're not worthy of anything, to understand cycles, the stars, astrology, ourselves, and money. But guess what, biatches? We are worthy. All of us are worthy. Because I believe and I know that there is enough wealth for everyone. I don't believe that all of the wealth should belong to the few, to the 1%. There is more than enough for all of us. There always has been. And I'm going to be part of my generation. I've always said to break the wheel, to break the cycle, to break away, especially from the lack of generational wealth. And if not for me, then for my children, because after I freaking get up out of here and leave, they're still behind. And I'll be damned if I will leave them to their fate as being taught, or the lack of knowledge that I wasn't given growing up, so then I could be in a little bit of a better position. I'm still blessed. I'm still blessed. And thank you, Spirit, for always looking out for me. Right? But this is breaking this ignorance, breaking this fear. All of this starts with me. And I know it starts with me. It starts with you. It starts with all of us. And this is why I felt like I couldn't sleep, because like, wait a minute, you're coming across this information and you're not even sharing it. You know, so as I go further into my path of my own spiritual awakening, evolving, right? I'm starting to see the cycles more clearly. I am trusting my intuition more deeply. I am understanding the energy, how the energy works, seeing the breadcrumbs, seeing the signs, so that I'm able to follow the breadcrumbs with confidence. This energy, this information was placed into my energy so I could follow it. But I also believe that it's given to me so I could share it. This is why I'm doing a show tonight. We're already 1:37, an hour and 37. Holy crap, on the clock, 1:37. What was I talking about? 1:37. Go back. This information was placed into my energy so I could follow it and share it. Because this is not secret knowledge. We all know that this is not secret knowledge. It's all out there for everyone who just looks. And I happen to look, and I'm like, holy shit. Okay, this is factual. This is historical. Will it open some eyes or shift some perspectives? Maybe. But what I care about the most is about us all gaining and getting this motherfucking bag together, because we deserve it. And point blank. So before I go, if I didn't speak from the heart, which I just did, I think I just did, I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you for giving me this space and this grace. I thank Spirit, right? For being able to speak here and be myself, and, you know, and just share what's in my heart. And I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. I know it's out there, and really, really out there. But I at least hope that it meant something, you know, especially honoring Louise McWhirter tonight. All right. So Anyone that follows me know that I'll be back on my channel reading cards, reading tarot cards, being crazy, getting weird. I'll be back to myself, right? But this is a time where I just wanted to take out time and come with some different energy, because in my world, you don't, like I had said before, you don't just speak about the dead lightly. You ask for permission, you show immense respect, you honor them properly, especially when you're sharing their life's work. And this is this amazing woman's life work. And she's helping us to break the code. So if anyone ever wants you to fucking get rich, bitch, it's Louise McWhirter. That's why she's my goddess right now. She's my goddess. She dedicated her life to this discovery, and the least that I could do was dedicate this hour, this 2 hours, anything, whatever, to her memory with the seriousness that it deserves. So if I sound a little different tonight, that's why. And with that being said, my loves, with that being said, I pray that you enjoyed this. Like, share, and we'll talk again. And I'll see you all in the stars. Have an amazing night, and we'll talk soon. Bye.